Hey guys, this is going to be another quick Linux command video. Check the link in the description for more info and for copy and paste examples. The Linux cp command copies files and directories. So let's give this a try. So we have a few different files and directories here. Say if we want to copy a file, say if we want to copy a file, like for example, we want to copy abc.txt, and say cp abc.txt to new file.txt, and there we go. We have our new file.txt right here copied on over. Now let's say if we want to copy a directory, say for example dir1 to, let's see, cp dir1 to new dir. Now it's going to say you can't do it because it's omitting it because you didn't specify a -r. -r is for recursive. When you're copying a directory, you need to do it recursively to copy any contents of that directory. But you also have to do that even if the directory is empty. It's just something you have to do with directories. So dir1 has stuff in it, and dir3 is empty. But if you try to copy dir3, it'll give you the same error message even though it's empty. So you can get around this by just saying -r, and there you go. You've copied dir3 to new dir, ls new dir. There we go. Now you can also copy dir1 the same way, new dir2, and there we go. There's everything within inside that directory. So that's a -r for recursive copying. Now you can also do, and it copies anything within the directory as well. You can do a lowercase r or a capital R. They do the same thing. So worth knowing, lowercase r, capital R. Now another thing, you can create a backup of a file. So ls, now notice here we have a file with a tilde. So if you copy any file over, try to copy a file over b3.png, it'll create a backup file. Now I'm going to show you how you can do this. It's with the .b switch. So let's say if we want to copy this document right here, this PDF. So say cp doc.pdf. Actually, that's a bad example. Let's copy one thing over another thing. So let's copy abc over abc.txt. So copy abc over abc.txt, and let's add -b to that, right? So -b, and let's see what we have now. Now we have an abc.txt tilde. That's the backup file. So it takes this file, it backs it up into a backup, and then copies abc over abc.txt. So that's how you can create a backup first, so you don't wipe anything out you don't want to wipe out. Now if there's a -f option to, if a file exists and can't be opened, remove it and replace it. We're not going to show you that because I don't have an example of a file like that right now. Now you can do a -i to prompt to overwrite. So instead of a -b, if you did a -i, it will say overwrite, and you can say yes to overwrite it if you feel like it. So that's a safety feature you can put in there. Now you could also say copy abc to abc2, and if you want to create a hard link to this file, you can say a -l to create a hard link. So now abc and abc2 are basically both actual file names that point to the same data on the disk. They point to the same inode, so they are hard links. So ls, so abc, abc2, they're not symlinks, they're hard links. Not going into more detail about what those are. I have a separate video on that. So you can also say, if you said cp-s abc, abc3, right? Now what you have is a symlink right here. So abc3 points to abc. So ls-l, whoops. And yeah, I have too many things in this directory. So yeah, abc3 points to abc. We created a symlink there. An alternate way to create a symlink. Now, ls, so say if we wanted to copy cp, and you can say -n for no clobber, so it won't overwrite abc.txt. Oops. Copy abc over abc.txt, and it won't do it if it already exists, so that just silently doesn't do it for us. So Another thing you do is a -p to preserve. If you want to copy a file, you can, let's say you want to copy ABC to new file 123. You can say -p to preserve the mode, ownership, and timestamps. I'm not going to actually do that, and you can set, if you're copying, you can also do a -d to preserve links. That's probably something you're going to do with when you're copying a directory that might contain links. Now you can also do a so if you want to let's see here, there's another one called preserve. You could say -preserve, and then you can specify a bunch of options, like you can specify mode, ownership. I almost never ever use this, but you can specify what you want to preserve, what attributes you want to preserve when copying a file. And one thing you could specify is all, basically preserve everything. So that's like mode, ownership, timestamps, context, links, X attributes, and probably some more. So you can just say all, right? So you could preserve things like that. And you could also say what not to preserve. You could say no preserve if you want to exclude preserving certain things. So I'm not going to actually demo that, but the next thing is kind of related to that. You can say CP. I think I covered CP-P preserves mode, ownership, and timestamps. D will preserve links, and an A. So an A is archive. So that's the same as an R for recursive, and a D for preserve links, and a -preserve all. So it's the same as saying preserve equals all. If you want to combine preserve equals all with a capital R for recursive and a D for preserve links, you can do that with an A. That's the archive option. So that's another useful thing. And let's see, you can also do a -U, so it will only copy if the source is newer than the destination. So if you only want to copy updated files and don't bother to copy anything else that's the same, that you can use a -U. So that's a handy thing too for maybe like backups or keeping things in sync or something. Although I would probably use the rsync command or something like that instead, so I've never really used that functionality. Now you can also use a -V for verbose, and it will show you what file was copied. So for example, if you copied, let's say CP-R dir1 to new dir3, and say if you wanted to put a P there, or whoops, a V there for verbose, it's going to show you every single thing that was copied. So each file, subdirectory, and file within a subdirectory, it will show you which ones were copied and from where to where. So that's kind of useful too. And what else? There's a -Z for, this is to set the security context to the default type on the destination. Not going to demo that. I don't have SE Linux security context on this particular host that I'm on right now. So that's about everything we want to copy with the CP command. That's more than you really need to know with the CP command. I kind of went overboard with that, but it's kind of good to just show you all of that stuff. Remember, check the links in the description for more info. Hit the subscribe button for more useful content like this. We also have a ton of other more interesting content covering things like coding, hardware, software, servers, Raspberry Pis, 3D printing, and a whole lot more. Hopefully you found this useful. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys on that next video.